and thank you for joining me on this video chat series where I chat with people who have created a life that they love. The point of this series is to show you that anything is possible, and I want to do that by talking to other people who have done it and to show you what they've overcome and hopefully impart a little bit of their advice to you on your journey, because I truly believe that anything is possible if you actually put your mind to it and clear the blocks, usually put there by yourself, that are in your way. So I hope that this series inspires you to do something that you've been wanting to do, or to change something, or to get rid of something that doesn't serve you anymore. And maybe it'll help you to create a life that you love. If you're interested in joining the next series of Manifest Me, just jump on my website, have a look, see when the next intake is, as I would love to see you there. Manifestation has been a huge part of my journey, and hopefully it can be a huge part of yours too. So, hello, I'm so excited to introduce my next guest to you, Candice. I met Candice, I guess, midway through this year, and we've caught up a couple of times, and I love being in her company. I love watching her on the socials, and she's just a bit of an inspiration to me to get out there and live your dream and show up every day. So Candice has a beautiful beauty studio in Mullaney in Queensland, and I think what I love the most is her attitude towards beauty, that it's not just a physical thing, it's such a mindset thing. And I wanted to just grab you today and just have a bit of a chat about, about your life. And it seems like you love what you do, because it comes across every time I see you. So yeah, I just wanted to chat a little bit about that journey with you. So thank you for jumping on with me today. So I'll hand over to you to just introduce yourself and say hello. Just give us a little bit about your journey.
Wonderful. Hello. Thank you so much for inviting me today. I almost couldn't believe when you reached out. I was like, why would you want to talk to me about what's going on? But yeah, it's been a journey. I have been a beauty therapist for I'm not even sure that I've got this number right. I kind of pluck it out of the air. I think it's about 15 years. And yeah, so I've been in the industry for a long time. And
how
yeah,
long have you been in Mullaney for then?
In Mullaney for 2 years.
Okay.
We moved over from WA.
Okay.
And yeah, being a business owner wasn't really on my radar.
Okay.
I think I knew that I wanted to do something that was mine.
Yes.
For many years, I think all through my 20s, it was almost this expectation that I had on myself that I would do something that was like mine, but like I didn't necessarily know how that was going to look.
Yeah.
And when we moved here, I hadn't actually worked in like a beauty studio or a beauty salon.
Yeah.
For a lot of years. I was teaching at TAFE, and then I was working for a waxing brand, facilitating workshops and things. And yeah, I guess I thought that I wasn't like a beauty salon person anymore. But when I moved here and I had my young son, I just wanted a job. I think I really just wanted to socialize. And then I found Dot and Birdie, where I started working. And yeah, it all just kind of came about. So now I have the beauty studio in Mullaney, which I've had since the start of this year.
Yeah.
Diversifying and kind of like taking it online, because I want to, I guess, reach out to more people than just who are here. Yeah.
So I know we've chatted before, and you have been in the beauty industry for quite a while. And one of the things that you said to me was you were in an industry, but you didn't know enough about one part of it. So you went and got another job to learn about that part of it, which I thought was amazing. And it showed me that you really loved what you do, because you just went out on your own to go, oh, I'm just going to get another job to work out how to do this job better. So I thought,
we won't tell that whole story, I guess, but yeah, I think I've always been the type of person that I kind of say yes to things, and then even though I don't really know what I'm doing, I'll say yes, and then I'll figure it out as I go.
Yes. That's such a great way to go about it. It is. Well, otherwise we can find that that fear will stop us doing something, because if we don't know, then we go, oh no, I better not do it, because what if I make a mistake, or what if I stuff it up, or what if I get it wrong, and then we shrink back down. So it's that saying yes and then working it out along the way, which makes us
Oh my
even more successful.
Absolutely. And everything you just said there, I I apply that to my job with my clients. I feel like the way that I approach beauty is to give people the tools to feel confident to go out and give it a go.
Yeah,
Because all my career, people have said to me, like, oh, I really want to like give self-love a go. I would love to like spend some time with myself, honoring myself at home, whether
yeah,
that be through giving yourself a bit of a skincare regime, or putting some makeup on to like show up as a really empowered, fresh version of yourself. But
yeah,
people often just say, I just don't know where to start. And I think they see what they see in magazines or TV or social media or wherever it is. They see this like ideal, perfect person giving all of these tips and tricks on how to look the way that these people look, which, side note, they don't look like that in real
yeah,
life. But that's a whole nother thing. So they fear that they're
yeah,
going to look silly if they try it.
yeah,
And what I want to break through it,
yeah,
you these tools are there to bring you confidence to show up as your best self. They're not there to change you completely. So there's just nothing to be scared of.
yeah, yeah.
So
And I think that one of the things that you've said to me is that when people come, they always, well, women especially, come in and are apologizing for themselves when they walk into the studio, and it really hit home to me. I'm like, oh, I'm probably one of those people who go in and say, oh, sorry about my skin, or sorry I haven't waxed, or sorry I haven't done this, and you were like, but that's my job. You don't need to worry about it. That's what I'm here for. And it's that I guess that culture of, we need to be perfect to then get to the next perfect step, when in reality we've got to start somewhere, and it's okay when you go to a space where someone accepts you for who you are.
yeah, and I think that that's where my approach is a little bit different, because you might go to someone and say, oh, I'm sorry, and they say, oh, but I'm here to fix that for you. Whereas I really take it as my duty to ensure that I'm allowing you to feel beautiful and confident and empowered just as you are,
Yeah,
first and
yeah,
foremost.
yeah,
And then, we can work on the rest,
yeah,
because you don't need to look perfect.
yeah,
You need to feel great.
yes,
And, we talk about like a desired outcome. When I speak with my clients, it's a desired outcome. And most people,
yeah,
they don't want to look completely different.
yes,
They just want to look like them, but just
yeah,
like a little bit brighter or a little bit more fresh. And mostly they want to look like them, but they want to feel extra confident.
yeah,
And so we talk about that in
yeah,
going, okay, well, what is it? Is a little bit of a dark circle? Oh, that's easy. We just do a tiny color correction. You don't even need a full face of makeup.
yeah,
Let's talk about that instead.
yeah,
And I think that's where it's a little bit different, and the
yeah.
way that I approach beauty.
Yeah, because I saw that one of the things you do is sort of like a beauty basics. And that's probably, for me, I don't want to come in and look completely different. I want to come in and look like me. How do I make myself just that little bit better? Because you're right, when I walk away, it's, I probably look basically the same, but I feel so much different. And it's about
And
that
that's
confidence coming out.
Yes, exactly. And that's exactly what it's about. It's about looking in the mirror and feeling like you, but
Yeah.
like you can take on the world.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess, is that sort of the thing that inspired you to start your own salon? Because I know now you're at the Joy Collective and you do your own thing. Is that sort of the thing that you wanted to, because I look at it as you breaking beauty standards, which I think is amazing, that you don't have to look a certain way, and you show up on socials just out of the shower, no makeup on, and you show us what you're doing. And I love that. I think it's great because I can scroll and just see everyone is constantly either photoshopped or perfect when I'm, in my news feed. And I see someone who's natural and I'm like, oh, okay, I can watch this, because I can relate.
It's about being relatable.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think when it came to actually having my own studio, that came from a place of like, how do I make money? Quite
Yeah.
frankly, like, let's be real. I was working in a business that was, coming to the end, and I thought, well, I've got clients, I can service my clients, let's do this. But also, if COVID taught us anything, it was about really diversifying. And I knew that if I wanted to go into business, I had to be smart about it. And I had to pull my big girl pants up and go, okay, how am I going to actually make this work? It needs to be more than just a job.
Yeah.
And I guess I just knew that online was really the way of the future, and that's what we should be doing. You see people doing it, you know that it's where it's at. But I guess when I looked at the online world, and especially the beauty industry, like, I kind of had this bee in my bonnet about it. I almost didn't want to enter that world because I didn't like what I saw. It really annoyed me that there are these influencers who are just pretty people getting paid by brands to talk about their product. And I get that that's marketing, but what I don't like is that the consumer or my clients or, you know, my peers, they don't understand the difference. I understand the difference, right? I understand that these people are getting paid a lot of money to promote a product that may or may not work. But what I can tell you is that you're not going to look like that person because that person doesn't look like that person when they show. You know what I mean? So like I was getting really furious about that. And like I was really resisting this whole online world because like I was pissed off. I didn't want to be a part of it. And then I don't know, I get this passion like that you can hear right now, like this fury. And I would talk about that with clients, and we would have these really meaningful discussions. And I guess I thought, well, let's not go in there and join them. Let's go beat them. Let's go change it. Let's talk about it differently. And, you know, I don't need these people who are already really pretty and perfect to come and be my followers. I need the everyday woman because I want to make a difference in their life, and I want to make sure they understand what is going on in the beauty industry and how I'm not saying not to do certain things. I'm just saying let's be aware of what's going on and how that's affecting us before we decide that we need it.
And
so I guess that's where that.
But I think it, well, you know, because I think when you're in this constant state of seeing all these perfect people, it does your head in a little bit, you know. And then when you have a different approach, you think, oh, this isn't this perfect way isn't the only way. I can actually do these things and feel good about myself. And that's what I like about, you know, your ritual boxes, for example, is that, you know, it just gives you the space to go, okay, I'm perfect as I am. This is what I'm going to do just to make myself feel a little bit better. You're not even telling people you have to look like this, you know, or you should do that. It's what makes you feel good. Find out, take some time for yourself, sit down, make some space for you, you know. I think that's great.
Yeah. And that's really where the brand Sanctyouary was born from. It was really born from that place of creating space where you, like, what is a sanctuary? What a sanctuary is to me is it's a very safe space where it's really all about me, and it's designed for me. It's personal and it's personalized. And I think that's where Sanctyouary was born, because it's a safe space, but it's for you. I did this for you, and I'm encouraging you to create it for yourself and remind yourself that it looks different to everybody. Just because one person's sanctuary looks like this, it doesn't mean yours has to. Just because one person's using their foundation this way, it doesn't mean that you have to. You know, just because one person's doing this to make themselves feel better, it doesn't mean that that is what's going to make you feel better. Let's look deep inside and decide what is going to make us feel the best individually and nurture that, because no matter what, confidence is the most beautiful thing. It's the best way that you could ever show up. And so really it's just about creating a safe space to explore what it is that's going to make you feel confident, and you'll just show up beautiful. It just happens.
Nice. So do you think that it sounds like the journey that you've been on is not what you thought it was going to be? It sounds like you're moving down a path that's a little bit more of an awareness for people, and I guess breaking the standards. You know, it's not just a beauty therapy. You come in, you have it done, you walk away. These conversations you're having with people, I guess when you started your business, you didn't think that that was what it was going to be, you know. And I've seen on your socials when you're setting up for a client, it probably takes you, I don't know, half an hour or so to set up for a client, because you make the space, right? You've got the teas there that they can choose from. You have a chat to them. And I was like, it's not just an hour, come in, get it done and move on. You know, it seems like it really is a space for that person to forget about the outside world for a little bit and take some time for themselves. So I guess that's a little bit of a different business journey than I thought. Then you thought you might go on.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I would agree. I probably didn't really know what I was setting out to do.
Yeah.
But I'm just following what feels right every day.
Yeah.
And what feels right is making sure that people have an experience that is truly wholly and solely about them,
Yeah.
because they're not just another number. And it's little things that, you know, when I've worked in other businesses, you know, this in the beauty industry and the hair industry, if you know it, you know it, it's very much get as many people through the door as you can and squish your appointments in and pump them out. And I was really, really good at that, you know, like really great at keeping to time. Everything was rigid and structured, and I could like pump through these people. And I think I always gave a good service, but it never felt really, I never felt really fulfilled, like I had really given that client exactly what they needed on that very day, in that very moment, because we're humans. Every day is different, every hour is different. And so I want to make sure that I'm allowing space for everybody. And little things like, you know, we live in a small town. You don't want to be leaving the beauty studio bumping into somebody who's entering for their service. Little that I always felt very uncomfortable when I worked in other businesses, like, oh, hi, my next client. I'm just saying goodbye to my last client. I'll be with you shortly. Oh, sorry, last client. Let's just like push you out the door and make you really feel like your time is up. Like I always want people to really feel like they are my only client day, or they're my only focus for the day. And so I think those little things create a really holistic experience for that person.
And that is special, because there's nothing worse, but it's not very nice when you're coming out of an appointment and you're bumping into someone, especially if it's a small town, you don't know them or like them so much. Or, you know, when I walk away and I've got my eyebrows, then they're all red because they've just been waxed. It's, you know,
exactly. Your hair's all greasy from your facial and you're a bit doughy-eyed, and that's exactly what we want. But like, you don't want to be bumping into somebody feeling that way. You want to be floating out like nothing is going to touch you or bother you.
Exactly. And do you find that your clients are like that when they walk out the door, they feel different than a normal beauty salon as such?
Yeah, I think I definitely have made the impact that I wanted to make in creating the sanctuary space that is all about you. And it's just about, I think I've really done that because, you know, a lot of my clients now are clients that I had in when I was working in the business previous, which was a little bit more of a traditional beauty salon. And I've sort of taken them through the journey of coming from one experience to another. And they loved the previous experience. Don't get me wrong, it was a gorgeous salon and the environment was amazing. But taking them to this next level experience, they are able to pinpoint everything that I've set out to achieve without me even telling them that that's what I wanted to do. And if somebody can give me my vision and my mission without me having to even tell it to them, I think I've achieved it.
That's magic. They just know what you're trying to get at. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like they can sing my mantra to me without
without you telling them what it is.
Yeah, which is really kind of cool. And I guess that with the rituals boxes and also just my presence online, like that is what I'm setting out to achieve. And I'm hoping that it will go from the studio into that online world as well.
Oh, look, I'm sure it will. So are there any sort of obstacles that you've had to overcome? So you mentioned before that you didn't want to go into that space of, you know, the online world and have your own studio because you were so angry at the beauty world, but then you overcame that, and look what's come out on the other side. You know, you've got this amazingly successful studio now. Were there any other sort of obstacles or hurdles that you had to cross to get where you are now?
Yeah, I think when it came to the studio, like I feel like I went into that really knowing what I was setting out to achieve. But when it came to the online world, I went into that really lacking confidence and really, really feeling very unsure about who I wanted to be when I showed up. And like, I think I really considered what are other people doing?
Yeah.
Or what are people expecting to see?
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know, I like to be told how to do things. So I like went out and I sought advice, and I'm like following accounts that help to teach you how to show up on social media, and they give you all these steps and tricks and tips. And I got really tied down by what everybody else was doing or telling me that I should be doing in order to show up online, that I felt paralyzed,
Yeah.
like so afraid to show up at all because like I would do it wrong.
Yeah.
And I think I had to really look within and go, I'm trying to tell people to break through that,
Yeah.
because I hear people say, oh, I really would love to try a new makeup look, but like I see all of this advice and I'm so paralyzed by everything that I see that I just don't try at all.
Yeah.
Right. And so like I'm hearing these same thoughts in my head about showing up and doing something different.
Yeah.
And what would I tell them?
Yeah.
You just have to start. You've just got to try.
Yeah.
And so I had to really overcome this idea that I was going to get it right the first time, or that I was going to show up as this perfect person, knowing exactly how to do social media and like do everything that people would expect from me,
Yeah.
and just do it anyway.
Yeah. Feel
And
the
so,
fear and do it anyway.
yeah, it's been a real journey of like feeling the fear and knowing who I'm going to be when I show up.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing is that I have to just be myself.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's really, really hard to just be yourself, because especially if you maybe have a touch of perfectionism and you think that you should be a certain way all the time, showing up as yourself is actually really, really difficult. And so I've had to overcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So
Um,
definitely.
Sorry, go. It is hard though, because you're seeing all of these people who are doing it so well, and you think, oh, I can't do it until I've got it down perfect. But in reality, people connect with a person, they don't come on as such. Maybe they come on looking for a product or a studio, but they don't follow because of you're talking about that product. They follow because of you and your story with it, and I love that you're testing out all the products and you're using them and you're showing up, and this is what I did right, and maybe this isn't for me and this is for someone else. They connect with that human, that person comes on and tells them a story. So I think that it's really important to remember that even when it's hard to show up, and we're scared of doing it because what will people say, but it's just jumping over that block.
Yeah, exactly. And I think too, something that I had to remind myself is that, while my job is to help people to find what's going to work for them, if I consider how I do that in a studio setting, I'm with a client and I'm with a client for hours on end, and I'm actually building a relationship with them. In that, when I do tell them that I think that something is going to work for them, they trust that because we've been through that process of building the relationship first. And so how to transfer that into the online world is really difficult, because you're trying to build a relationship with these people. But quite frankly, when you put the camera up to your face and you're staring at yourself and you're talking, you feel idiotic.
Yes, you do.
You have to just remind yourself, like, people are watching. People are not necessarily judging while they're watching. Like, you've got to kind of put that away. And if they are, that's okay. Like, that's on them. That's not on us.
Yes.
But people are really looking for connection, and they're looking for somebody that they can trust. And that is something that I wanted to break through, because I see these influencers and I see what they're talking about, and I'm like, I don't trust you, because I know how much money you're getting paid to be promoting something that, quite frankly, you're probably not using. And I understand that. And so it is my duty to show up for people who are asking these sorts of questions. Give them somebody that they actually can trust, because I am just a person.
Yeah. But I think that's important because, like you say, with the influencers, you know that they're being paid. And yet, you know, if you watch something over and over again, or you watch them for long enough, you start to trust them. And you're in reality, it's not true, you know. Whereas I love that you're showing up as your authentic self, and you'll tell it how it is, or this one didn't work for me, or this isn't so great, or whatever it is, you know, because you've built that trust with people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So is there anything that you would go back and tell your 18-year-old self?
You don't have to have it figured out. I think the thing is, and especially around that age, I think I thought that I had to know exactly what I was going to do before I
Did it?
went to go and do it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have it figured out,
Yeah.
because it's the journey.
Yeah.
And the journey is what teaches you.
Yeah.
It's not, and I think also when you're 18, you think you know everything.
Yes.
And I think everyone says that, right? Like you hit a certain age and you're like giving this old wise advice. Oh, when I was 18, I thought I knew everything too. But it's true. It's
Yeah.
true. And I think that you just have to open yourself to the journey and the learning and apply it as you go.
Yeah.
And start when you're 18, great. But if you're not ready when you're 18, it doesn't mean your life's over because you didn't start. Like start when you're ready.
Yeah.
And enjoy the journey and
Yeah.
apply the things as you go and as you learn and grow from that, and just keep. You don't have to have it figured out. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing.
So not many of us have it figured out, you know. I think it's important to share that we haven't got it figured out, so that other 18-year-olds, when they get there, they're like, oh, it's okay that I don't know what I want to be or what I want to do. I'm not going to freak out. I'm just going to start something and see how it goes. Because I wish I had the same advice, you know. I didn't know what I wanted to be, and maybe I still don't know what I want to be. So it's okay.
And it's okay to change your mind, I think, is, you know, I think that we don't start something because we fear that when we change our mind, we decide that it wasn't right for us, that there's this judgment that gets placed that like, oh yeah, you just tried it and it didn't work, or like, oh, there you go again, trying a whole nother thing. Like, when are you just going to stick to something? I think you don't have to stick to anything. You can change your mind as you go. If it doesn't work, change your mind, try something else.
100%.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't make you happy, don't keep doing it. Just go and try something else, because if we're not doing what makes us happy, then what's the point? You know, you're just going to work. You may as well get another job that's going to pay you 10 times as much and go and do that. Just be a robot. So I definitely agree with the whole changing your mind and doing what makes you happy thing. That's yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Enjoy the journey, because the journey is it. If you're not enjoying it, you go along. You know, you die tomorrow and you haven't enjoyed it. Like, what's the point if you never end up reaching it? And it's okay to never end up reaching what you think you wanted as well. Because if you're enjoying the journey, then that's actually all that matters.
And you're going to be expanding as well, because if you've reached where you want to be, it's okay to want more and go, oh, okay, what's next for me? What's the next thing that's going to bring me joy or happiness or fulfillment or whatever it is?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what do you think is next for you?
Do you know, I think that I've really made peace with not knowing what's next.
Yeah.
Because I think that what I've learned is you think you know what you want, but what you end up getting is way cooler than what you thought you were, right? So I think I'm excited to just see what happens and to see where it goes. I've obviously got goals, and those goals are in place because I do think it's important to have somewhat of a vision, but not knowing how it's going to turn out and being excited for whatever door opens. Like, I didn't think that I was going to be interviewed on a podcast, you know, ever, let alone anytime, let alone today. Like, how exciting. So I'm okay with not knowing what comes next, but I'm excited to see like what it's going to be.
But that, I think that is perfect, because you have to connect with why you want something, so your goals, but no, you have to be open to how it will happen. Because if you're too connected with it has to happen this way, that's when people trip up and nothing's working for me and nothing's happening. And it's because the universe is sitting there like, I'm banging on another door for you and you're not listening because you're so focused on this door. So when we're open to other ways, it's so much more magical, because it's better than what you could have expected.
Absolutely. And I must say that is something I think the penny really dropped for me the night that we had the Queen's Connect, where you hosted and you were talking about the manifesting and like how to go about that, I think that's really when that penny dropped for me. And I started really just to let go.
Yeah.
And it was instantaneous. Things started really to fall into place. And
Yay.
they fell where I wanted them to,
Yeah.
right? So there's that,
Yeah.
but they all fell better and
Yeah.
quicker than
Yeah.
I thought they were ever going to. Like one of my long-term goals, a goal that I had set for myself for 12 months down the track, being the rituals box,
Yeah.
that came together in 2 weeks following that. And
Yeah. That nine.
you let go of what you think that you need to be doing, and the universe kind of does just take care of it for you.
Yeah.
If you
Yes. Yes.
are.
It's not holding on too tight to it. And making peace with the part that scares you. And that's I think why we put things off, is because, oh, it's a bit daunting or it's a bit scary. I don't know how to do it. So then we hold on to one way. And as soon as we're like, okay, I'm just going to start, you're showing that you're serious about it. The universe is like, oh, cool. She's serious about it now. She's taken a step. She's shown me what she wants. I'm going to help her make it happen.
Yeah.
So I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a really powerful tool
Yeah.
to have. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think once it happens for someone the first time, then they start to trust it. So when people ask me about manifesting, I'm like, just try little things. And when you realize that the little things are happening, then you get more brave to try the bigger things and actually let go of it. And then that's when you get to enjoy the ride. That's when the big things happen. That's when the betterness starts coming in.
Yeah, and often I think you receive the big thing almost without realizing you've received it, because the little things just keep showing up.
Yeah.
And you celebrate those tiny little things as they come. And then one day you wake up and you're like, whoa, that really big thing that I wanted, like, I actually already have it. Like, this is
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Yay. Yeah. It's celebrating the little wins along the way, because it keeps you feeling energized. It keeps you feeling positive, and your vibe is feeling good. You're sitting in a good space. And when you're sitting in a good space, you're attracting good things. So that's really important. So yeah. Oh, yay, you. Okay. So quick last question. What would you say are 3 words that describe you?
3 words that describe me. Oh, geez. Yeah, good question. That one really put me on the spot, didn't it? 3 words that describe me. I'm going to say determined,
Yep.
confident,
Yep.
and excited.
Awesome. They're
Yeah.
very good words. Really
Yeah.
good words.
Yeah.
Nice. And finally, is there a question that you wish I'd asked you?
No, I think this flowed so brilliantly. I think we've covered everything that I guess I feel like. I think that we really were able to touch everything that feels like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so, because I think often you can't even ask a question. Like I think when we sat down for this, I was thinking, what's she going to ask me and how am I going to answer it? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. But like we're just sort of talking about everything. It kind of comes up and it flows so nicely. And so I feel like, yeah, there's nothing else. I feel really
Awesome. Well, thank you for chatting to me today. Best of luck with the rituals boxes. I know that you're already doing fabulously well with them. So hopefully that keeps going, and keep on manifesting your goals. Let go of all the how you're going to do it and just keep flowing with what you're doing, because it's just going to happen.
Yeah, so perfectly said. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful.
That's
And
okay.
I can't wait to see what's next.
No worries. I'll put all your details here so people can find you. They can read about the ritual boxes, the sanctuary, everything. And yeah, they can follow you on socials, which they really should do, because she shows up almost every day in the most beautiful, natural, authentic way. I love it. So please follow her.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, I will be back again sometime soon with somebody else who has created a life that they love. Thanks.